Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be showing you how to use Janie's multi-project panels, or one of the multi-project panels to make this tool roll. It opens out like so, and you can obviously adjust the width to whatever size you want. This is using the Animal Antics project panel. There are other ones, but they will all work in the same way, so you should be able to make it from any of them. Okay. I hope you enjoy this video and that you get some inspiration. This is the project panel. It's called a multi-project panel that I'm going to be using part of for this video. I'm just going to show you what's on the panel. I have to move it around a bit. So you get these two large panels at the top, and they Joni works in centimeters, but I kind of go with inches, and they're pretty much 9.5 this way by 13.5 that way. And you get one tends to have a little bit more on, just I say more, not a huge amount more, but if you were to use these to do a fabric journal, then the idea would be that you would use this as the outer cover, this is the inner, but you know, it's entirely up to you. So there's those two, and then I'm just going to fold it in half. So then we get these strips. Now this one, these two are both 2 inches. This one is the same width as the panel, the big panel. This one's not quite so long. This one is about 9 3/4. This one is about 3 inches by 7 3/4. So you get these 3 strips. On all the project panels, they're a similar layout, not always the same things, but it's sort of similar. Then we have these 3 squares here that are roughly, they're not quite, but they're almost 4 inches square. And we've got our 3 ovals. I've got these not quite 4, about 3 3/8 by about 3, yeah. And then these ones that can be fussy cut out for a plique, and for maybe a bit of free motion embroidery. Sorry, my brain left me then. So that's what the panel looks like. Cut into the panel, and we're going to make the tool roll. So what I need for that, I need the three squares. Remember, I'm using the Animal Antics, but this would work with any of the project panels. The 2 sort of approximately 2-inch wide strips, and both of the big panels. Okay. You will also need an extra piece of fabric. This pretty much won't be seen. I've just gone for a plain sort of white ivory-ish cotton, and that needs to be the same width as the panel, roughly 13.5 inches by 5.5 inches. Okay. You will also need, I've got some fusible fleece here, and this is 13.5 inches by 14.5. Now, if you don't have fusible fleece, but you have, let's say you have some wadding and you have some heat and bond light, then you can put some heat and bond light on one side of the fleece. You just need it to kind of stick to one side of the fabric. Okay. But we'll come to that later. Now, if you've seen when I've done any videos before, when I have a little bit of sewing to do, I sort of have to go away and do that. I haven't got the setup to show you that on camera. So we're going to do this in stages, and I will explain what I'm doing at each stage. So I'm going to put the 2 panels to the side, and I'm going to start with my 3 birds. Now it's up to you which order you do. I'm kind of going with the two lighter fabrics at the side and this one in the center. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to sew those two together with a 1/4 inch seam, and we're going to sew those two together with a 1/4 inch seam, and then we're going to press. So I'll go away, I'll do that, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the next step. So I've now got these three sewn together, and I press the seams inside. So I'm going to now, next step will be to cut a piece from here to attach to this end, and then another piece from this to attach to this end, and then I will attach this along the top. So I'm going to go and do that and come back when I've got that sorted. Those pieces are now attached, but you can see there's a bit of overhang here. I've already trimmed it off this end, and I'm going to now trim it off this end. So that it's now will fit to the panel. Now, I'm using from when you look at the panel before you cut it, I'm using the piece from the right, no, from the left hand side. Sorry, I just realized what I'm doing here. So this is going to be the outside of the roll, and this is going to form the pockets on the inside. So we need to join these two, but like that. So this one's up that way and this one is that way. Okay, so I'm going to join those there. It all will become clear as we progress. So I'm going to go and do that now. This part is now complete. So we've got the outside panel, these bits there that are going to fold up for the pockets for the inside. So we can put this to one side for now. Although I'm just going to leave it there for a moment and I'll show you why. So this one is the inside. Get it up the right way. So this is going to be the inside. I'm lying it over that because the reason we've got this extra bit of fabric is because we need this to be the same length. So literally I'm now going to sew this onto this, and then I'm going to put the fusible fleece onto the back of this piece once it's sewn together. So the fusible fleece will go on the back of this. And once I've got to that stage, I'll show you what we do next. Okay, so this is now sewn with my 1/4 inch seam here. It's a little bit short. If you want to cut these out first and then cut your piece to the right width, it still needs to be 5.5 inches this way. I've got the fusible fleece on the back. I'm now going to place this one face down, so that this piece of fabric will basically be the inside of the pockets. So it's not going to be seen. Now all the seams so far have been 1/4 inch. For going around the edge, you're going to need 1/2 inch, which is why I'm not too worried about the little bit there. The one thing I didn't say is you will need a couple of pieces of ribbon which we're going to sew in now. I would just sort of try folding up. It's going to fold up on that line. So you want to look at where roughly halfway along here will be, and that's where you want to sew your ribbon in. The other thing you need to do, and I would do it here or here, doesn't really matter, just in this bit that's going to fold over, is to leave a 4-inch gap. I leave it there because when I fold this up, I've got to sew this, and it sews that seam in as well, so, and you don't get like a double row of top stitches showing on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead with that. So I'm going to pin this. I'm going to sew my 1/2 inch. Now, the one thing I do before I I have a 1/4 inch foot on my sewing machine, which helps me with these. On the plate, it does have 1/2 inch, but I struggle to keep it straight. So I will be marking 1/2 inch all the way around as a line to follow, and I will be marking where my stop and start parts are over here. This also allows me to get a really good stop on, you know, on the corner, so I know exactly where to stop on the corner. Okay, the ribbon, as I said, will get sewn in at this point, and I will make sure that it is roughly, because this is going to be the base, so it's going to need to be halfway between that and what's that? Around 9 inches, so at about 4.5 inches is where I'm going to put my ribbon. Okay, I will be back when I've got all of that done. This is all now sewn with my 4-inch gap here, and as I sort of said, you know, where I kind of didn't quite have it cut long enough, it's still caught it in because I've got a 1/2 inch seam there. So the next thing to do before we turn it inside out is to trim the corners, because we want to reduce the bulk. So the way I do it, I mean, you can just cut straight, but I tend to come sort of from further down and then kind of do like a curve round like that. So it's kind of more of a curve. So let's do that on the other corners as well. That's 2. 3. And 4. Just before I turn it, you can see where I've drawn the line and where I don't know if I can get it to focus, where I've managed to be able to turn it right on the corner. Okay, so now we're going to turn it in this way, and just go gently with it. You don't want to, you should, hopefully, I didn't say, but you will have back stitched here, but you just need to be a little bit careful as you start to turn this in, because we don't want to rip that opening. So I'm pulling in these 2 corners first, and then pushing all of this in as well. And I realise I put that on. Okay, I've done this incorrectly. I've just realised. So let's go back, and we're going to have to revisit this, because this ribbon, I've just realised, and if you spotted it earlier in my blurb, then I do apologise. This actually should be between the 2 bits. Now, it's not the end of the world, and I I can and will fix it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unpick this bit of the seam, and then I'm just going to pop them in, and then we'll redo that. It's no biggie. It is one of those things sometimes when you're getting on with things and you forget little bits. It's not the end of the world. So I am going to find my stitch ripper, and like I said, all I'm going to do is I'm going to open the seam at about that, because I need to get the ribbon in, and then we'll resew. Okay, so I'll come back when I've done that. So as I was turning, what made me think was, it's like, this ribbon's not going to end up on the outside. Why is it not going to end up on the outside? And that's why. So what I'll hopefully remember to do when I edit the video is to put on that little bit where I said about the thing that it should go between the two layers. And then hopefully you won't end up in this pickle like I am. So I'll be back when I have restitched this. Okay. So here we are now. Ribbon is all in the right place. Corners are cut, and now we can go back to trying to get it in the right order. These things happen, and no point panicking. It's usually an easy fix, and that one wasn't a very easy fix. So gently bringing those two corners nearest through. Sorry, can't really see on the camera there. Bringing them through, and don't rush this. Just take your time, and it will all come through. Just pulling it through here. And this bit is coming. It's all in, and that's a case of getting it even that. So I'm going to use my bone folder to get into the corners, and there's my lovely bit of ribbon, thankfully in the right place now. I'm use the point of my bone folder to push my corner out there, and then just get it folded out a little bit more there, push that out there, and then these at the top as well. Not wanting to appear, this little corner up here. Here it is. In that corner out, and then the same up here. Now, what you need to do next is to iron it, which I'll do in a moment. But you can already see how this is coming together. So that's going to fold up into there. And then we'll stitch up here. Now, I have found when I've made them with the wadding, that this is quite tricky to get through your machine. So if it is, what I would suggest is from sort of here to here, you actually sew as near to the edge as you can, and it compresses it a bit, and then you can go back up and put another line, so you end up with like a double line of stitching there. But that's only really if you can't get that bit to go through. It's because you've got some of the wadding, the fusible fleece in this case, folded over. So you've got quite a what's the word? Quite a lot of layers to get through. Okay, so I will go and press this, and then I think what I'll do is I will actually sew those two edges up before I come back, and then I can show you how to divide the this up for your pockets. Okay. So the sides are sewn up now, and now I just need to decide on what tools are going where. Now I'm going to put my small rotary cutter. I want to put my bone folder in, pencils. What else might I want in there? My scissors. Is there anything else that might be useful in there? Let me think. Well, we could put something else in there. What else would go in my little tool roll? I think I know what else would go there. My knife. So I'll have my knife in there. Okay, so it's just short enough that these things will show above, but it also gives me room for some of the taller things, maybe a small ruler, that kind of thing. But we'll go with that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just use a pencil. You can use a friction marker if you want, but I'm sewing straight over the top, so I don't think it's going to make too much difference. So I'm going to put a line there, one there, one there, and one there. So what I'm just going to do, while I can see that one, I'm just going to draw myself a line down there. And you can do it in a friction marker or a erasable pen. I tend to find it doesn't matter. Once you've sewn over it, you can't really see it anyway. And then the final one is down there. So I'm going to sew down those lines. Here we have it sewn now, and it will just roll like so, and then it ties like so. And you can make it, you know, any size with the little pouches for whatever tools it is you want to put in there. So there we have a little tool roll from the Animal Antics project. Sorry, it's called a multi-project. Here we go, it's here. Multi-project panel, Animal Antics collection. So that's what I've made with that one. I'm going to be using another panel to make some more projects, and I still have these left from this panel, so we'll see whether we can come up with something for those. But thank you for joining me for that. Yeah, look out for the other videos with the other project panels. Thank you.